Now, Trav, you're talking about your brothers that were telling you, get lost, don't want you here, just this little fella, they're playing big ball or whatever. It kind of sounded like, and something I watched about you earlier was maybe at that young age, you learned how to use that negative feedback or energy or the you can't do it thing to drive you. Because you kind of talked about in one of your videos I was watching how you like to use that negative to fuel you and to allow you to do really well at what you do.
Yeah, it could have started there, honestly, really, but I don't know. I don't know. But the negative thing for me, it's like I just really took it with both hands after when I was like 15. I had a coach that like constantly kind of like went at me with certain things, basically told me I'm not good enough at certain things. And that's all right. Like it's all right to get told, you're bad at something, but he just kind of always did it in front of people, made me feel crap about it. And so I took time off from his academy the next winter. I took time off and made my goal to like prove him wrong. Like I used that as fuel literally every day. That's what I was thinking about. And I set some goals and just like took that negative stuff as like, I'm going to just show you that I'm exactly opposite to what you think I am, because F you, basically. Like that's how I was thinking.
That's how you felt.
So I took time off. I came back and I remember the first time, it was about my arm strength. And I remember the first time I threw a ball in front of him and the coaches after coming back, after working my ass off. And they were like, what did you do? Oh, Trav, that looks so much better. Oh, what have you been doing? How did you do that? Wow. Like, and I was like, oh, just did my own work. I think I might have said to someone, I wanted to prove you wrong. But yeah, from that time where I realized that I just used that negative fuel to like help me. And then that came at the same time I realized like the power of goal setting and how to do it. That all came together. And then my progress in the last 2 years has just been huge, because after that point, every time I hear like a hater, I just like kind of write it down in a little note thing on my phone, and then set some goals. And yeah, I just like, it's the competitive in me that like, how are you gonna think that I'm not gonna do something? Like I'm the one that's gonna control that kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
And a lot of the mindset back home in Australia for baseball is like, yeah, you get told you're good, yeah, you make teams, but no one really believes that you're going to make it over here, because it's like, there's not many that have done it before us. So because there's no one that's doing it, all the people that are coaching, like they never got to their dreams to the fullest, I'd say. And so it's like, if I didn't do it, how is this kid going to do it?
Yeah, gotcha.
And so I just kind of learned that I had to basically just block it all out, but not block it all out, like take it in, use it, but it's not going to change my beliefs in myself. And so it was like, I just learned I've got to believe in myself before anyone else. I don't need reassurance. And I'm just going to go out and get it. And I know if I give it my all and it fails, and who gives a damn? Like I'm going to learn from that. I just work so hard for something and it fails. Now I know I can work hard at something else and I'm going to get it. Like I'm going to learn from that. And that's how I approach this. So yeah, all those kind of experiences with negativity and like doubt,
yeah,
have really, for a lot of kids back home Australian baseball, it kind of kills their career, honestly, because they hear these little doubt whispers, and it's like, oh, maybe I am not gonna, maybe it is too hard, maybe the kids over here are too good. But I just went, you know what, if there's kids that from tougher youth lifestyles than I had, way less resources, etc., that make it all the time. Why not me? Like, why? It has to be here. So I've just gone with like a dog mindset, and I'm just gonna go out and get everything. Like, I told Dad before I came here, we were hitting in the cages one night. I remember it. I had a really good session, and I said to him, no, he said, oh, you know, like, you're doing really good over here, but like, you know, how do you think you're going to hit over there? Like, what do you think you're going to do? And I said, I think I'm going to lead the league, and I think I'm going to win MVP of the West Coast League. I genuinely said this. I said, I think I can be the best hitter in the league, incoming freshman, and I'm going to win the MVP. And he kind of just like, he just gives me nothing back. He always does that. And he goes, oh, I don't know. And then I had some custom bats ordered, thanks to a guy called Phil who coached me, who's an absolute legend. And I was like, you know what, I got to just keep manifesting this stuff and believe it. And so I got MVP on my game bats for this summer, on the handle of the bat. So like when I'm like just standing there with it, it says MVP on the top, just because it's like just a reminder that like I'm not here to be second best. Like I'm here to just show up and just be the guy. And so yeah, I told myself I wanted to do that, and that's not like the goals I set, because that's out of my control. I got to control things that are actually how I can improve my performance, and that'll be a byproduct of that. But it was just something in the back of my head to fuel me, because I wanted some accolades out of this first summer here to just show the people back home that I wasn't just coming here to be like just here, you know. But yeah, that happened, and then now I'm in the race right now. I just got to finish strong, and I think I got that. But yeah, that, and then win the ring, win the championship. Yeah, so yeah, it's like, I don't know. I just love proving people wrong. It's just the competitive in me.
Tell that to Miss Andrews during a lesson when you're like in PE, when you're having discussions and debates in class, right? Would have made for some great entertaining lessons, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And you bring me to another point. It's like, yeah, at times I might have been over top with that, but I'm grateful that I'm like this, because it's like it's brought me to where I am today. And I felt sometimes my actions might have came off wrong with how intense I was, and I understand that, but it's like also I feel like I was misunderstood in a sense. Like I'm way more emotional / like caring than some of those intense moments would have looked. And I think that's like something I've realized is people had opinions on me based on like that side of me.
Yeah.
And I'm way more than that intense competitive person. And even some of my closest friends from back home, like I had conversations with them in the last 6 months, and I was like, you know, like, yeah, we're close, but I don't think you really like actually understand like what kind of person I am. And it really brought me closer with some people. And to this day, I still wish that I was understood a little bit better, because I kind of felt like there was just this like image of me at times with certain
intensity. Let
certain
me just say
things where
this. I saw it. I saw it on the handball court, you guys going at it on the quad, and I saw it in the courts, the 1v1s. And let me tell you, I loved it, mate. You always entertain me well, because whilst you said other people didn't notice it, I knew who you were, and I knew this was a part of you, and this is what gives you your edge, and this is what makes you who you are. And this is like you said, you've been working on it, you're honing it, and you feel like you got it in the place where you needed to get it to benefit you now. I saw it back then. I was like, man, if that determination keeps coming out in where you're wanting to go, which it sounds like it is, I was like, what can stop this kid? So I mean, with a little brain power that I had, I just love watching those intense games. So it sounds like you always got to have someone in your corner, and it sounds like your old man Gary's like, dude. When I was talking to him, oh man, he misses you so much, Trav.
Yeah.
He got a little emotional. I know a tear dropped onto his screen or something, but he just loves you to death. I think he misses his best mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him. There he is.
Yeah.
What a handsome
Um,
guy.
we yeah, my parents have just like supported me so much throughout this whole process, really. Like the money, the time, the drives, everything since when I was like 10 years old. It's like they've never not supported it. And I don't know, like I know they're definitely missing me right now. Like for dad, it's like he'd get home from work every day and we'd go to the cages and hit together, like spend a quality hour of just us time. And he just saw me progress and progress and progress, and he loses that. So it's like, it's tough. And I only really realized like how much they did for me this year when I like grew up a little bit more, and started to move past high school and a busy kiddie life. But yeah, like just mom and dad just always like were for my best interest. And like really, as much as this might seem whack, but they really never, they didn't often say no to me. They just wanted me to go out and try and just be who I wanted to be and learn myself. And they just guided me along that path and supported me. But they were always with whatever I wanted to do and whatever I wanted to believe. So like, for example, like I know that dad, like when I was 15, 16, my self-belief was pretty high, but dad was probably questioning how far I could go in the game. And I know that. And he never really reassured me. Like I'd train with him every day and I'd like have a good training session. I'd be like, Dad, like, did that look really good? Like, how was that? That was good, huh? And he'd be like, yeah, it's all right. And like he'd just wait for the right moments to give me my props. And that like drove me to work to prove to him that I'm like gonna make it. Just prove to my dad. Like they put so much time in and they didn't know how far I could take this. But they just like trusted my crazy belief, you know?
So
And
it
then
sounds
yeah,
like you
yeah,
really need people in your corner, and you've had a few. I'm just going to throw a few out there, and there's a good chance to talk about them. There's Roland Smith, who's
yeah,
someone that's always been in your corner, and there's Trent
yeah,
Olchin. Is that pronounce his surname right?
yeah.
And I can see Will Delves there. There's some cool stories, but tell us a little bit about Ryan Roland Smith and how he was in your corner.
So I'll just hit it with Trent and Ryan at the same time because they kind of came into my life at the same time. So Trent and Ryan, I knew of them because they were one of the 30-something Australian big leaguers ever, both of them. And yeah, one day we got in contact. I got an email about playing on a team and going to America for a team called Next Gen Baseball. And it was like, what is this? So Trent and Ryan created a business years back, business slash like helping a business that helps Australian kids get exposure, cool experiences, and like help them get to America and pursue baseball really. And yeah, I played on the first ever team they took away and just developed a connection from that day, from that tournament. So I left that tournament with my exit meeting with them, and basically the biggest thing they told me was, you know, Trav, you're special. You just need to keep being yourself. Like I remember it so vividly. Never stop being you. Trent said this to me when I was like 13 years old. And it's like the most powerful thing I've ever heard. Because if I stopped being me to try be what everyone else wanted me to be, I wouldn't be here. Like truly, truly. And so he told me to just keep being myself, like never stop being myself. And we stayed in contact for years. Then he took a college recruiting team over to the Arizona Fall Classic, and I got recruited by Oregon State due to the opportunity they gave me, Trent and Ryan. So I'm in contact with them consistently. They're like second fathers in a sense, that like I trust them. And yeah, they're just great people that have showed me that I can do whatever I want to do. Really, I don't know, like
must have been amazing for you having the goal to want to make MLB and having ex like Dodger Diamondback player.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who Ryan played for. Forgive me, sorry. And it must have been great to have them cheering you on and giving you those words of encouragement. Hey, Trav, just be you. Do you?
Yeah. So they were huge, and they still are to this day huge in like my progression just as a person, because the biggest things with me were just like keep being you, keep leading, keep being that like loud, energetic person. And then like you don't have to listen to what people are trying to put you, the box people are trying to put you into, like where you have to go with your career, what kind of player you have to be. Go out and be your own person, set goals, be great. You can be great. And they always just just helped me with that, and it propelled me. So yeah, they've been great.
So let's talk distraction, right? Because there's nothing that's going to thwart your progress more than distraction. So how do you be you and stay you amidst all these other things that are in society, like, you know, like being cool, like you said earlier at uni, or hanging out, getting to know everyone? How do you take yourself away from all those distractions? Because at the end of the day, though, those that you're hearing succeeding, and all those podcasts that you no doubt listen to and that we've heard, it's like you got to get away from that noise, right? Like how did you manage to do that in high school, or were you able to do that? Were you able to stay away from what you needed to have success for you? And if so, what was it and what did you do?
Yeah, so the biggest thing was that was I made sure I knew what I needed to do. When I woke up in the morning, most days, it was a baseball focus, and it was, what have I got to do today? What things do I have to get done, training, reading, etc., to get better, like to make as much progress as I can today. And it was a day-to-day thing. So yeah, I went out, but I didn't want to go out or spend time doing other things until I ticked off every different thing that I needed to do that day to help me get better. So throughout high school, it was like, all right, have I thrown today? Have I hit today? Have I lifted today? Have I sprinted today? Different things. Have I read 10 pages? And I had a daily schedule that like got adjusted by the week kind of thing to help me progress to my goals. And if I went out and didn't complete them on the day, I'd feel so bad about myself. I was like, what am I doing? So I got to the point where I'd know what time people are doing things, when are people going out, and I'd force myself to get what I needed to get done, what I wanted to get done to progress as a player before I went that. So it was like the going out, the social stuff was only just an extra reward for the work, because the work that you put in to be like a professional athlete isn't instant gratification. It's delayed. Like you don't go and train for an hour and go, oh, now I'm going to be the best player. It's like years, months, you know this, straight. So it was almost the instant gratification at times was, I've got to get this stuff done, even though I enjoyed the work. and then I can go hang out with my friends. But it was like, if I had days where I didn't do what I wanted to do training wise, it was on the schedule, I'd feel not like myself. Like, I feel sick almost. And that's probably not a good thing, but like I'd feel off if I hadn't done the work. So it was like, all right, you do the work, that's priority one. Do what you need to do, whether that's school or training, and then you can spend the time somewhere else. But it was like, I have to get what I need to get done on a daily basis, and that's what matters. I can still go out, but just get what needs to be done, basically.
It sounds like it gave you a real positive sense of self, being able to check off all of those goals. Okay, yep, I'm on a pathway which I am creating, which is necessary, and it's in a trajectory of where I'm wanting to go. So it sounds like that really helped you out and grounded you as a person to know who you were as much as you could know as a teenager, right?
Yep.
I had a question about Trent. You're giving him a great big hug over here. You think he's just done 2 marathons, like an ultra marathon, like an 80K run? Must have been something special. Like, they had already made the big leagues, and so you must have looked up to them. But to see him still grinding it out, to seeing your mentors or those you look up to still striving for success and exemplifying that to you, must have been empowering for you as a young man.
Yeah, that was huge. He just continued to show me like exactly how I've got to, like how I want to live, like how I want to go about life. So with that, he played in the major leagues, which was his dream for since a kid. Finished his career and had a bit of that, like, what do I do now? Like, I'm here, I run a business, but I don't have those real goals. And he just one day decided he's going to start running. And first day he ran, he like could hardly run at a good pace 5 kilometers, because he was always a anaerobic athlete, and he, like me, like wouldn't succeed in any long distance stuff at that time. And you can see the photo you got there. He looks a little bit bulky, like thick neck, whatever. That was baseball, Trent. And then he, just decided he was going to run, and he ran a couple times, saw some progress, and just enjoyed the feeling after he was running, that little like, oh, this feels good. And just started enjoying it, doing it every day, made it a habit. And then within like a couple weeks of running, he decided his goal was to run the 6 flags, the 6 marathons, the big marathons around the world. Because why not? And yeah, what happened was COVID hit. He was running every day, training his ass off. And he went, what can I do? Like, I need to show the kids something. And he has a young boy, and he was like, you know what? I've never run more than 35Ks in my life. He'd got to 35Ks in training and stuff, but what can I do? Oh, Bondi to Manly's a thing. I'm going to do an ultra, because others can do it, I can do it. And then he had the whole influx of doubt. So he had family members telling him, Trent, you're crazy, you're going to hurt yourself. Everyone saying, all ultra marathoners that he was in contact with, because he has connections and stuff, said, mate, like, it takes years of training. You know, you've been running for 5-6 months. You can't do it. Doubt, everything, everywhere. And he said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And it's going to be tough, but I'm going to show you that I can push through, and you can do whatever you put your mind to. So I saw him at the start line at Bondi at maybe 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the dark. He seemed a bit nervous, whatever. And he got going. And yeah, the goal was Bondi to Manly, and he did it. But the point I want to make, I saw him at 50Ks, and his calf or hamstring was definitely done. He's like wobbling, but jogging, like literally waddling in pain, clear pain, with 30Ks left, and he didn't give up. And it was like, go, Trent, like, how are you doing this? I was like, how is he doing this? I almost shed a tear. He was like running up a hill, moving into like the Manly area, and he was literally waddling, and he'd been going for 5 hours or something. And I was like, how is he doing this? And then like 10 kilometers later, you see the same thing. He's still going. He's just still going, chugging away, still going, still going. Body's just done. Everything's done. He's hit the wall. He's still got to go up hills. And he just grinded it out and got it done. And like, I just remember him falling into my arms, like at the finish line, basically. And it was like the most special thing ever, because he just like, it just showed me that you really can like do it if you're up here. He'd never even really hit that full wall yet in training. Like, he had, but he hadn't pushed past it for a long time. Everyone doubted him except himself. He was running on his own, and he did it for like kids like me to prove to us that we could do things. He did it for his son to prove him that he can do whatever he wants. Like, it was just so like shocking, and I don't know how to describe it. It was just so massive for me. Like, it really hit me. And I was just so, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I still think about it, and I'm like, you can read that Instagram post that's on the right if you want to. I've got a public Instagram page, so read that if you want to hear how I really felt. But basically, just
it's good to hear it coming from your mouth, and what a special thing to have these people that are in your life to be there to really role model, showcase, and inspire you. So that's amazing. Now we've got over here old Delvsy boy, Will Delves, head teacher, industrial arts. I actually found out that you guys, was it third grade or fourth grade? You got to bat together against Macquarie. You guys partnershiped 50 runs, and he's also he's the third best partnership that you've had playing cricket according to the New South Wales stats.
Yeah, so I don't know, I'll just dive into Delvsy, but it started in year 7 when the announcement came over at the assembly that there was cricket tryouts at Aluba at 7 a.m. sometime that week. And me, as the kid I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm in year 7. They go, it's open, boys, so probably year 8 up, something like that. You're going to be facing year 12s. But I was like, I'm good. Turned up to Aluba as that little energetic little speedster, and just, yeah, I don't know, just like gave it my all and tried to show that I was worthy of that team. And I think I fielded really well and showed off my throwing arm from baseball. And Delves picked me in the first team for the knockout tournament. And I was like, I'm way more grateful to this day, but like, he could have been like, no way, this year 7 kid, he's like 12 years old, he's going to face year 12s. And he batted me at the top of the order in year 7, gave me that job and just trusted me from a young age. And yeah, I appreciated that so much, and he understood me from a young age too. So yeah, he just trusted me. We started a good connection, and the biggest thing for Delves and I, it was like, I always felt like he understood me. And that was one of the biggest things for me, is I always felt a lot of people didn't really like know what kind of person I am. I'd never really seen me outside of school or handball courts or talking about baseball and being, you know what I mean? But he could see through the loud, competitive, sometimes cocky, you know. And
I've got some words here from him. He said, I told him that what we're doing, and he's like, mate, it's like unreal. He's like, look, I played a bit of cricket with Trav. It's like, it's great. It's unreal to see all his hard work paying off, the determination. He's absolutely crushing the league. He's playing in. I've been watching heaps of his games through Facebook and YouTube. And he just wishes you the best of luck, mate. So
Yeah,
that's what I'll share that
I
back to you.
yeah, I thank him a lot, and he definitely just helped me throughout high school and taught me things and saw me grow up, and yeah, he's just a legend. And we again in year 7 or 8 we talked about it, manifested, visualized it, me and the younger guys from my year, like Eddie Westcott, Callum Bladen, etc., that when we were in year 11 and 12 we were going to win the state championship for cricket. That was a goal. We knew that it was possible, and we always had that on our mind. And it came to that year, and Dell's hung around with us, coached us the whole way through. And if it wasn't for COVID, we would have played in the finals, but we ended up tied champions in the state because we couldn't play the final games. But we still got what we could have done. We didn't lose the game.
Take the win.
Yeah, it's like, it was just cool to go through that whole process with him, because we knew we had some young talent at that age, and he stuck with it, and we got to the final year and won the state championship in cricket. So that was cool.
That's pretty awesome. Wow. One of the things I was thinking about is, like, this is a really good opportunity for those that didn't know you or weren't able to see the whole picture because it wasn't as manifest, because it was in the painting was half done. Like, it sounds like this Travis Bazzana masterpiece is getting closer to the end product, where now in retrospect a lot of people should be able to go, okay, that's Travis Bazzana, I get him. And I have no doubt they'll be able to put all these links together and see you in their corner, because it must have been tough in year 12 as well, when the HSC for you was irrelevant going into the varsity scene in the States, and needing SATs and GPAs and all of that sort of stuff. And it must have been hard for you to kind of find that balance as well.
Yeah, it was weird, because all my kind of assessment grades before the HSC final exams were really what mattered. And I put the effort into them, and put the effort into my final exams too, just out of pride and competitiveness. Like, I wanted to make my family proud, and I wanted to beat people. I didn't want to just have a dumbass HSC score, so yeah, I put effort in, but it was I wanted to still balance that with baseball and stuff. So it was tough, because I didn't feel like myself in the HSC, honestly. I'd trained every day for years, and then got to the HSC, and I was spending 8 hours in my room a day and only getting out to eat, kind of thing, at times. And it was I felt so sick and off, I just not being out doing things. When I was I need to study. So that was crazy learning experience, but it was different, because I had different goals, different priorities, different things I needed to do well on etc. But yeah.
Can we talk about that a bit? Because I think that's a really powerful time for you. I mean, 2020 COVID hits, bam. Here we are now. I'm in Sydney, and there's a lockdown going on here too. We've got that next strain of COVID running amok over here. And so people are in lockdown, and the trials now they're not happening for New South Wales. And so the assessments are having to go online and so forth. But it doesn't sound like you took COVID lightly. It sounds like, how did you deal with it during your time? Because your HSC timeframe and schedule was a bit disheveled as a result. And how did you use that time period of COVID to have the success that you needed in any way, shape, or form?
So I saw, just off the top of my head, first thing that came to mind in terms of COVID time, I saw it as an opportunity. It was when everything's falling apart, it's an opportunity to rise above almost. So for me, it was everyone's talking about how they can't train, they can't get outside, they can't do this, they can't do that. And everyone forgets about where their goals are, what they're working towards, because it's too tough. And so I was like, with Trent's advice, like Trent was like, there's going to be two people that come out of this COVID lockdown, this COVID time. There's going to be the people that look like COVID didn't happen and they've just kept progressing, and the guys that have been watching Netflix every day for 5 hours and having excuses, using it as an excuse. And I just took that on board and really like went to work and used it as another time to get better, do what I can. And again, I came out the other side of COVID with my best summer season in Australia, and then now I'm here and really succeeding. And everyone went through the same thing, but I just used it as an opportunity to be better than the rest and not like let it keep me with the pack. So it's like everyone had the same thing, but it was good for me in the sense that, yeah, maybe I could have gotten better without COVID, but so would have everyone else. I just was able to separate, and there's power in that. And then school-wise, I don't know, it just was what it was. Like we had online school for times and just did what I needed to do. But yeah, it was really, I was like, all right, I'm gonna separate myself now. I'm not gonna let this like hold me.
So for those that are kind of in that year 12 mode now and going through this doldrum, what's your dime a dozen message for them? What's your message of hope for these people, young students that are in that dichotomy?
Just have a think about like where you want to be 6-12 months time and what it's going to take, and then you'll be able to kind of break it down what you need to do, and whatever that is, it could be anything, but just approach day-to-day life with a what can I do, what can I control, and yeah, it'll pay off. But that's what it's about. It's just focusing on what you can control and doing that to the best of your ability. But
yeah,
really just
Sorry,
yeah, you're fine. The biggest thing for me is like, again, it's like all this cliche stuff about sky's the limit, like no limits, whatever, but it's real. Like, you got to believe crazy things or you're not going to do great things. Like, people don't believe that they can do the things they want to do, and so they don't go out and pursue it, because you're not going to pursue something that you don't think you can do deep down, really, like to the fullest. If you don't know how to build a certain house for a client, right, they want it a certain way, and you just start putting bricks down everywhere, you're not going to keep going, because you have that uncertainty, right? So same thing with any other goals. It's like you have to be clear, and then you have to believe it, because if you don't believe it, you will not consistently progress towards it. So I just say, whatever you want to do, just like go out and get it, and just control what you control, do your best.
Yeah, and this is what I've heard from the pearls of wisdom that have come through through us meetings here. It's like, set the clear goals, dream big, stick to your guns, get the work done first, then reward yourself with the fun, the social, the good times. And meditation helps. It helps you can get in the mindset and release some stress. Like, that's what I've heard come through really strong today. Now, before we take off out of here, I'm pretty sure we've hit all the slides. I'll just go back and just double check. Some good points here. The link, we've hit everything. But I just want to talk about this last page now. This is you, Pac-12, NCAA Div 1, Oregon State. You're signed as an infielder, outfielder. You pitch right, bat left. To me, that's insane. Like, how did that even come about? Maybe you can talk about that. And I'm just loving seeing you here with some of your fans. Do you just want to kind of wrap up this bit of the journey? Got you training there with your bands, probably switching on some glutes or something. Yeah, you want to just talk us through this page a little bit and where
Yeah,
you're at?
so first thing, fans. So yeah, the fans are really cool here. They're just like, there's a lot of young ball players, a lot of just young locals that come with their parents who know the game's going on, and we as a team sign autographs straight after the game, every game. So we finish the game, we put our stuff back in the clubhouse, and we come out and talk to fans and sign autographs. So sometimes kids' parents ask for a photo, and that's pretty awesome. It's like it's really rewarding, and it's quite awesome to make kids' days with giving them signed balls and getting photos with them, and just having a conversation with these kids that really like are so early on in life, and like it's honestly, it's super cool. So that's cool. Can't remember what the first thing you said was, but just quickly on the band, there's a band that I'm swinging with there. Yeah, that's just was to help me feel the right muscles turning on when I was hitting, and to have that band tension staying there, I'd have to like stay in the ground, and by staying in the ground, it's like using the force that I can provide through my legs. So that was a drill I used, that I kind of created by myself, just to learn how to use my legs properly. And then I can't remember what the first thing you said was, but yeah.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about these stats and how these stats read? And for a non-baseballers that are listening and seeing like, oh, 0.448 slash 0.491 slash, and like, can you flesh it out for the for those naive ones out there,
Yeah.
myself included, those non-baseballers?
Okay, so the left number, the 0.448, is the batting average, and a batting average is the amount of base hits. So when you hit the ball and you get safe, you have divided by as a percentage of, like a decimal of how many at bats you have. So an at bat is when you come up to the plate and bat, and like it's your turn, and if you get a hit, you're 1 from 1, so you'd have 1,000 batting average, 1.0. If you are 1 from 2, so you got out once, you got safe once from hitting, you have 0.50, like a 500 batting average is what it's called. So in baseball, you're doing good if you have a 300 batting average. You are elite if you're hitting 350 in most competitions, and you're doing something pretty crazy if you're hitting 400. So right now I'm hitting 448 through almost the full season. Well, I'm around 440 right now, but that was a couple of days ago. And the league record for the West Coast League where I'm playing is 409. So right now I'm on track to beat the league record, and this league's been around for probably 40, 50 years. I'm not exactly sure, but a long time. So I'm about to good chance of breaking the batting average record in the league. And I'm having a pretty historic season, I'd say. And then the next number is 0.491, which is on base percentage. And that's your safe hits plus your walks and hit by pitches. So when you get on base but you didn't hit it, so a walk when the pitcher's done a bad job, thrown 4 balls. So that's like all the times you get on base divided by all the times you come up to bat. And then the next one's a slugging percentage, which is kind of harder to explain, but it's basically takes into account whether you hit a single, double, triple, or a home run, and calculates it into a number of your average, like bases per at bat kind of thing. So the more home runs you hit, the better your slugging percentage is going to be. It's triples, doubles, singles, etc. So they have more value based on what kind of hit it was. But basically, those numbers are really good, and they're putting me on track to be in some of the record books here. So yeah.
Well done with that, Trav, in multiple ways. And I'll just say, like, you talked about how you needed to work on your batting and getting off those ground balls. And obviously those stats are showing that your hard work has paid off. So
Yeah, no doubt.
kudos for all that work, mate.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you wanted to talk about or wrap up at the back end of this?
Yeah. So I just want to talk about, like, my mantra now is never satisfied. That's like it's in my Instagram bio. It's what I tell people all the time. And it kind of comes from like Kobe Bryant's mindset, and how he was never finished. He always wanted more. He always wanted to try something new and be better, and like just be the best at whatever he did. And I just wanted to point out, like, yeah, I'm doing well now and I'm having more success and accolades and recognition than ever, but like the job's not done at all. And like, I'm not satisfied with where I'm at, in the sense that, like, yeah, I'm stoked about it, but if I'm not where I want to be, like, I'm not at my final destination yet, which means I still got things to do. So it's like, I'm trying to get better every day. I'm not rolling through the motions now. Nothing changed now that I'm having this obvious success. It's like, still wake up. Okay, how do I get better today? So whatever you're doing in life, like, don't let the highs push you with that reward, but don't like let it halt you, because often people reach where they feel like they're having success, and they think they're just going to stay on that pole position. But unless you keep improving, you're going to get beat. So I'm always looking for my weaknesses, looking for things to work on. But yeah, this is only the start right now.
So don't get complacent. Stay hungry.
Exactly, like stay hungry for something new, and be self-aware about what you can better yourself in. Because here's the thing. So you're chasing perfection, but no one is ever perfect. So what that means is everybody has something to work on, but you should still chase that, like, perfect, that you're never going to get to, in a sense.
And then that way the masterpiece is never done, but it just keeps evolving and creating and blowing people's minds as they observe this art piece that is Travis Bazzana. Travis William Bazzana.
That's it.
And or the individual who's out there hearing your mantra and applying it to life. That's them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, mate, it's been doozy. It's been great. I'm going to pull the pin on this one. So I'll just want to say thanks for coming on board and being a big part of this, mate. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. I hope people back home get to have a listen, and I inspire some young THS students to go pursue something bigger. But yeah, just don't let COVID halt you. Just keep your eyes on where you want to go, and find people that are going to support you, and people that also have good goals and want to be great. So surround yourself with the best.
Surround yourself with the best. What a good way to finish on. Well, thank you so much for your time, mate. Well, I'm going to pull the pin, but just hang on for a moment after this. But thanks for coming on the show today, buddy.
No worries. No, thank you. It was honestly great chatting, and I appreciate the opportunity, and we'll stay in contact for sure.